how's it going? I'm Anthony, and these are stories of my life. For those of you just joining us for the first time, these videos are intended to be a cognitive therapy tool for me. I've taken some head injuries over the years, and my memory is fading, and the doctors feel like these videos will help me preserve the memories I have, and then maybe inspire some of you who are involved in these events to provide me with details I may have lost, or even remind me of events I've completely forgotten. And in which case I can either make a whole new video or remake the video I have with all the extra details. So I'm sure you get the idea. At any rate, the event that I'm highlighting in this video takes place when I'm 11 years old, so that would have been about 1989. And between the last video and this video, in a nutshell, my mom's drinking had gotten a lot worse, attitude worse, conflicts between her and my father had gotten very bad, and yeah, I'll get more of that in a second. But I was also going to Matthew Gage Middle School in Riverside, California, so that was my junior high. And I don't remember a whole lot about the school. I can vaguely remember its setup. I remember taking a wood shop and a metal shop class, which I absolutely loved. I can remember a couple of the things that I made in there, but not a lot. I don't remember a lot of people. I remember, Jim was going there, Gabe was going there, but at the time I wasn't real close to them. We were friends, but they had other friends, and some of their friends that they were hanging out with didn't like me, so I didn't spend a lot of time with them. I remember I did have a crush at Gage, and her name was Marguerite Moreau. Some of you might remember her or just know the name. She eventually did go on to become an actress, and she's been in a few big things. I think her first big thing, though, was Mighty Ducks. She was Connie Moreau in Mighty Ducks, and then she's kind of gone on since then and done well. So good for her. She was such a doll. Loved her to death. I mean, she was beautiful, but I think the thing I loved most about her was just her personality, the way she treated me. There was a few times she saw people treating me bad, and she kind of stuck up for me, and basically jumped in the way, made them look dumb, but whatever. Anyway, she was a doll. Loved her to death. When she went on to her acting thing, never spoke to her again, but it doesn't matter. I got into a lot of fights at Gage. Again, people used to pick on me all the time because I was small. I was really, really tiny. I eventually earned the nickname Shrimp because I was so little. And I got into fights left and right. I can remember a fight with a kid named David Morrow, and everybody just wanted him to fight me, and they were egging it on. And the sad part is I was always one to oblige. You want to fight me? Okay, let's go. I'm not going to back down. So I got into fight after fight after fight, but I never swung first. One of the things that my dad was real adamant about is you do not swing first. You do everything you can to diffuse the fight, but you don't retreat. You don't surrender. You don't, run from it. You still stand your ground, but you do your best to verbally diffuse it. And I got really good at doing that. So there's a lot of them I was able to verbally diffuse, but there were so many that I couldn't, all of them. People just wanted to do it. And then when you've got crowds egging you on, it happens. And I can't tell you how many times I ended up in the office. It got to the point where I actually had to go through an expulsion hearing because I had been in so many fights. And the only reason I didn't get expelled, because I had been suspended probably more times than somebody should be and still be allowed to be at school, because when you get into a fight, both people have to be suspended. That's kind of a mandatory thing there. The only reason I wasn't was because I had teachers, I had other kids, I think Marguerite might have even been one of them, that went into the office and flat out told the principals and told everybody that it was not me, that I was always trying to do everything I can to get out of the fights, and I wasn't starting them, and I just was getting jumped basically on several occasions and just couldn't do anything about it, and so because I was not the instigator in that, they chose not to expel me. Instead, I would get the suspensions, but my suspensions were always lighter than whoever it was that fought with me, which they started doing that. So I don't know. It is what it is. Another thing that happened my 7th grade year when I was there was the soccer team I was on. Our goalie, his name was Eric Sosa, was playing around with a friend of his at school, and they were punching each other in the chest. And I guess this kid managed to punch Eric just right and knock the wind out of him. And Eric couldn't catch his breath, and he ended up collapsing. By the time the paramedics had got there, Eric had already had a severe heart attack, went into cardiac arrest and eventually died. And this all happened on campus because him and a friend of his were screwing around, punching each other in the chest. And it was really sad. I can remember that because Eric was my buddy. Eric was a good friend of mine, and it kind of changed the team, and my perspective of it. And I don't think I lasted another year on that team after that. But yeah. Anyway, so the event I want to highlight in this next video kind of starts off with this. I'm at home one night and I went to bed. I was sleeping in my room, and at some point in the night, I don't know if it was just kids that were in the neighborhood that were screwing around, or somebody was actually trying to break in. And I think I know which kid it was. I think it was a kid across the street to the right. I didn't really care much for him, but I think it was him trying to break into or pound on my window trying to scare me. And I got scared. I legitimately jumped up and freaked out because somebody was at my window, and I ran into my parents' room. And I crawled into their bed, right between them, laid down and went to sleep. And at least tried. I got in there, and what I didn't know when I did this was that my parents had just gone to bed not long before that. And they had actually just had a massive argument. And my mom had been drunk, severely drunk, mouthy, flipping out on my dad about one thing after another. And so I crawl into the bed, and my dad is instantly angry that I did this. Because, I'm an 11-year-old boy. I should be able to sleep in my own room. He doesn't understand why I keep running into his room and crawling in the bed with them. Whatever. I get it. As a dad now, I get it. So he gets up and he's mad at me and kind of scolding me and going to take me back to my room. And my mom starts defending me. He's scared, Glenn. He should be allowed to come in here when he's scared. And so then I kind of egg it on. I hide behind my mom and trying to get my mom to defend me. And my dad stands his ground. No, he's a boy. He should be able to do this and that. And then my mom starts flipping out and starts saying some of the meanest, rudest things I think I've ever heard come out of someone's mouth at that moment. And, Glenn, you know what your problem is, and blah, 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 and just start going off. And she was so disrespectful, it was crazy. To the point where my dad was furious. And you could see he just wanted to start smashing and breaking things, which is how mad he was. But my dad, being the champ he was, kept his cool. But he needed to get out of the house and cool off. So he told my mom, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna leave, gotta cool off. And so he grabbed his keys. I think he may have even grabbed his toothbrush. He said he was gonna go sleep in his truck or something like that. And then he walked out of the house and got in his truck and just kind of probably went for a drive to cool off. My mom goes and has a couple more drinks. Now she's wide awake, and I don't remember when my dad tried to come back. I was asleep. It might have been sometime a few hours later, but my dad eventually comes back to the house, and my mom won't let him in. I don't know if my mom changed the locks or what, but she wouldn't let him in the house. And that was that. mom just would not let him back in. And that was kind of the beginning of the end right there for everything. She never did let him back in. My dad was never able to come back in the house. She grabbed his stuff, put it all out on the porch, and that was that. So my dad ended up going over to his nursery, his plant nursery, and staying there. I think he had a cot or something that he slept on, and stayed there temporarily, and eventually built a little tiny room into one of the buildings where it would go in, and he put bunk beds in there for him and I. And sleeping there kind of sucked because there was no running water, no shower. I mean, there was running water, like a sink and stuff in the bathroom. There was no shower, so my dad had to get one of those plastic bag camping shower things and hang it up, and we had to go shower outside. And it wasn't a great area, so at night it was kind of scary, but the water never got hot, it got lukewarm. But during the wintertime that sucked, because it just was so freaking cold. But the big event for this video was one day I'm at my mom's, and my dad came to pick me up, and my mom's new boyfriend was there. And she had moved on to this guy pretty quickly. Just one of those people that just had to have somebody there, I guess. His name was David. He was a biker guy, and I couldn't freaking stand him. And I don't know if my mom had already been seeing this guy before she kicked my dad out, and she just saw that as the perfect opportunity to do it, or what. But anyway, David's at the house, and my dad tries to come pick me up. My mom says no. My mom says, no, you're not picking him up. And then David comes out and tries to be Mr. Tough Guy. He's like, nope, you're not getting your son. So understandably, my dad's pissed. He's like, no, I'm getting my kid. And I started to try to come out of the house, and then my mom started holding me back. Well, I'm strong enough now. I pushed my mom out of the way, and I started to get out of the house. Well, David now pushes me back into the house, and now my dad flips his lid because he just put his hands on me. So my dad comes at him, to get him out of the way so he can get to me. David takes a swing at my dad. Next thing you know, they're in a knockdown, drag-out fist fight in the front patio. And my dad's getting the better of him, just, pounding his face in, hitting him in the chest, whatever, and David can't do too much. But then David manages to push my dad backwards, and there's a step going off the patio, and my dad's foot went down. I think he rolled his ankle, and he had a bad ankle anyway. But then they went tumbling down, and now David's on top of my dad and swinging at my dad and hitting him because he fell on top of him. No, I'm not having it. So I flip out. Remember, 11-year-old me. I run up, I jump onto David's back and just boom, 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 just start pounding him in the side of the face. And I'm hitting him in the eye, hitting him in the head, hitting him in the ear, hitting him in the nose. I'm gouging at his eyes and fish hooking him and whatever else, trying to get him to stop. And he's swinging at me, trying to get me off of his back. And then at some point, I go ahead and I put him in a chokehold. And I know the chokehold. I don't know why I knew the chokehold, but apparently I knew a good chokehold. So I get him in a nice rear naked choke. And I start choking the crap out of him. And he starts eventually turning purple and blue. And I'm just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And I'm jerking, legitimately trying to break his neck. And I knew what I was doing. And this is why it's significant. I knew what I was doing. I actually sat there thinking, I am going to kill this man. He is going to die. Like, that was a conscious thought in my head. I was going to end his life. And I was trying to break his neck, but I obviously am 11 years old and I wasn't strong enough to do that. So I just kept squeezing and squeezing, trying to choke the living hell out of him so he could eventually pass out and die. And I don't remember why that didn't happen. I think it was just I was choking him, so he became so concerned with my arms around his neck that my dad was able to get his way out and hit him another time and knock him down, and then my dad pulled me off of him. My mom didn't get involved at all. I could hear her screaming, stop it, stop it, stop it. My dad finally pulled me off of him. And then, to make it even crazier, David had got up now, like flipping out, like what the hell just happened, because he almost blacked out from me choking him. My dad has to hold me back because I'm trying to get at David. And I wanted to kill him. I literally just wanted to kill him. And I don't know. That was just a big deal to me at that moment. That was the first time I ever really wanted to and attempted to end somebody else's life. Yeah. I was 11. So. Yeah. I don't remember what happened after that. I think I just left with my dad. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, not all the videos are funny. But that's it. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll have another good one tomorrow.